Werriwa.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. And I acknowledge the member for Reid and all of the funding announcements that the member for Reid has just gone through. That's what the electorates of Macarthur and Werriwa would be very pleased to see in south-western Sydney. We also need links to the airport and so forth. There's rarely a week goes by without a news report about growth in south-western Sydney and the strain that this puts on the lives of the people who live here. In Werriwa, residents are all too familiar with underinvestment in infrastructure. Commuter car parks are full by 7 a.m. I've spoken in this House numerous times about the hellscape that is Edmondson Park train station car park. Despite a commitment from the state government prior to this year's state election, work thus far on this vital piece of infrastructure has not begun. For over a century, people have been pushed further and further away from major employment and transport hubs to find places where they can afford to live. I have heard many stories of hardships caused for families because of the lack of the infrastructure, time away from families and costs involved. The New South Wales Government's Greater Sydney Commission has sought to remedy that through the Metropolis of Three Cities regional plan. The vision is for Sydney to incorporate 3 cities made up of the Eastern Harbour City, a Central River City and the Western Parkland City. A recent report by the Greater Sydney Commission, the Pulse of Greater Sydney, found that 16% of Western Sydney residents still can't access major hubs within 30 minutes. But for many in south-western Sydney, that is currently a dream, and a lack of action from this government leads one to suspect it's still a long way off. Only 30% of working people who live in the Liverpool local government area also work in it. Of those who travel outside the LGA for work, 70% drive and 12% use public transport, and it's only 12% because it's just not available. For those who drive, 2/3 experience delays on the M5. For those who get public transport, trains from Liverpool to Central Station take almost double the time in peak hour than they did in 1975, from 37 minutes to now 63 minutes. To fix these unacceptable wait times and achieve a 30-minute city, Western Sydney needs plenty of good quality jobs and great access to those jobs. And that's the intention of the Aerotropolis around the Western Sydney Airport. Since the Industrial Revolution, Sydney and the economic hubs have developed around transport. Hubs in the 1800s were rivers and ports. In the 19th century, it was railroads, while last century, highways and motorways opened up new areas for development. But for the 21st century, it will be airports, as they provide the transport speed, allowing goods and people to get to markets in Asia and beyond very quickly. An aerotropolis with industries like aeronautics, advanced manufacturing, logistics support, gate-to-plate agriculture and e-commerce fulfilment. However, according to experts like John Casada, the critical factor for any successful aerotropolis are its connections. World-class road, rail and telecommunications to support Liverpool and Campbelltown, Werriwa and Macarthur will provide a far more efficient workforce and a far better quality of life for all residents. That's why it's critically important to the success of Western Sydney Airport and the aerotropolis around it that world-class transport links are built, and they're built now. The South West Rail Line extension from Leppington through to Western Sydney Airport provides the quickest, most effective solution. The land corridor is already preserved and would easily and quickly connect the airport to Liverpool, Campbelltown and the rest of Sydney. It would also provide a direct link with Western Sydney Airport and Kingsford Smith Airport. The North-South Rail from Western Sydney Airport to Macarthur would not just benefit the airport but provide much-needed public transport for the entire south-west growth corridor, as would rapid transit links along 15th Avenue from Liverpool CBD to Western Sydney Airport. The southwest of Sydney is one of the key growth areas in Australia and is on the cusp of realising its economic and cultural potential. However, it can only be achieved if vital infrastructure is funded and built, linking southwest Sydney's major population centres with Liverpool and Campbelltown. I call on the government to fund this infrastructure properly and promptly.